Good evening. The time is 5:30 and we're ready to begin our regularly scheduled Port Arthur Independent School Board Trustee meeting for April 26, 2018. We will have the invocation by Trustee Diane Brown.
Please bow our head. Dear God, thank you for this opportunity to meet together. Please help us to come together to reflect our ideas and decisions, and help us to build a team that has love and respect for our schools and community. Lord, come give us the inspiration to be the best we can be. May we be the shining example of your goodness and truth in the workplace, and in Jesus' name, amen.
We'll have pledges to the United States and Texas flags.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We'll now have roll call.
President Frank,
Present.
Vice President Ambrose, Secretary Brown,
Here.
Trustee Barty,
Here.
Trustee Guillory,
Here.
Trustee Lofton,
Present.
Trustee Reed.
Here. There is a quorum established. Our mission statement. Our mission as the primary source of public education in the community is to meet the unique educational needs of our diverse population by providing a comprehensive, quality education for the students of Port Arthur Independent School District. Closed meeting. Under the authority of the Texas Government Code sections 551.071, 551.074, and 551.082A2, the board will meet in a closed meeting to consult with attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation, including settlement offers and other legal matters in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas are clearly covered by attorney-client privilege. Consider personnel recommendations. Texas Government Code 551.074 as follows. Consider and, if appropriate, approve employment of teachers. We will now go into closed session. Good evening. Good evening. We greet you this evening and we're ready to begin our opening session, our opening meeting at 7 o'clock p.m. We want to welcome each of you to open session for the Port Arthur Independent School Board Trustee meeting for April 26, 2018. We just come out of closed session and we're ready to begin our meeting. There is no public participation on tonight, and so we're ready to hear some staff reports. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you. There are a couple of announcements before we get started with our staff reports. Port Arthur Independent School District has been really busy, and we are so excited about all of the accomplishments of our students. They have done an absolutely wonderful job. Our staff, our students, even after Harvey, have done remarkable things that we haven't done in a regular school year. So we're extremely happy. I do want to announce that the girls' varsity track team was runner-ups in the district and the area meets. Our coaches are Sandra Bradford, Deborah Harris, Kevin Henry, Kayla Livingston, and Tamala Roberts. And the boys' team won both the district and the area meets. Boys coaches are Darryl Ranford, Terry Dixon, Chris Castile, and Nathaniel Rogers. Both teams are headed to the regional meet on Friday in Humble and Saturday. The preliminaries begin on Friday at 12 o'clock, and finalists will be at 3 o'clock on Saturday. So we are looking forward to the meets. I think they earned 153 points during the area meet, and they are fast as lightning. They are absolutely, they're both girls and boys. And I was telling our executive team, the girls at the beginning, that first girl when they did the read, I think it was the 400 by 200. The first girl, she was coming in, but each time they gained a little bit more. And by the time they got to the fourth young lady, if she ran a little further, she'd have lapped it. So that was good. And then we do have a mother here that's fanning because she's happy. But that third young lady was Millicent Navo. And Millicent ran. And when Millicent runs, she doesn't even have a facial expression. She just moves. And her legs are like wheels. And she just goes and goes. And I told the executive staff, what was so amazing to me was when they finished running, they weren't really breathing that hard. You know, they would walk around and I was out of breath hollering for them. So I think it's just youth. So we are happy with them. On Wednesday, April 16th, the Memorial High School Concert Band competed in the annual UIL Concert and Sight Reading Contest. The band presented Bravura by Double and Edmondson. Salvation is created by another name and choreographed by Sheldon. So in 2007, we received the Rating Concert 1 Sight Reading Sweepstakes 5A non-varsity. In 2018, we received a 1 in sight in concert and a 1 in sight reading 5A varsity. So we're very, very happy. Uniform giveaways are going well. We have gone to Terrell, Washington, DeQueen, TJ, and Dowling. We're giving away uniforms to our students, and they're really, really happy. They take them and go on back to class. So we're happy. I know our parents are happy about getting new uniforms. So it gives them a great start for the new year. I'll say a little bit more as we move forward. Right now, I'm going to ask Mr. Carlos Kennedy, Mr. Mike King, Randall Harris, and Heather Bergeron that are here from Loss Recovery Group, and they are helping us to recover some of our losses due to Harvey, and they are doing a spectacular job. They work very closely with our business office, and they have a wonderful relationship. They talk every Wednesday morning. We have meetings, and there's some very colorful meetings, and Mrs. Jeans and Randall are glued to the hip, and we just love them and how they work together, and they are doing a great job. So I'm going to ask the LRG team to come forward. We have Mr. Carlos Kennedy, who is here. Mr. Kennedy, I don't know, what is that? What's that? Who was that's available? He's the new, let's say Johnny Cochran. He's pretty dynamic, and we're happy to have him.
Sir, I appreciate that.
Mike King, we're happy to have Mike King with us. If you don't know Mike King is the former superintendent of Bridge City. So he has school knowledge as well as business knowledge. So he's been a great help to us. You know, sometimes business people think that, sometimes I think business people think that we're all business, and sometimes we have to bring a little school district to it. Yeah, a school like this. So we're happy Mr. King is with us. You might want to go on this side. I think there's a little shade for you and Heather on this side. You can get in front of the bar.
There we go.
You going to use the screen? Okay, good. Okay, great.
Dr. Porter, first of all, I want to thank you and thank the school board for allowing us this opportunity to come before you guys and ladies and kind of explain what we've been doing and where we are in this process. As Dr. Porter said, we worked hard. Dr. Porter, Ms. James, other people, parts of the staff. When we first got retained to come in and represent the school district, it was our understanding that there were two administration building and and Adams that had suffered damage as a result of Hurricane Harvey. So what we did was we came in and we did a thorough investigation of the entire school district. We looked at all the campuses. We inspected the roofs on the campuses. We worked closely with Dr. Portery and the rest of his staff to try and gather all the information regarding the contents, all the furniture that was damaged. And so, and Dr. Portery said, we meet every Wednesday to do a status report of where we are on the claim. So we've been very fortunate. They've been very helpful for us. The school district suffered a lot of damage. Again, as I said, when we first came in, we were told that there were only 2 buildings, and that was okay. Our job was to go in and investigate and find as much damage as we could that was connected to Hurricane Harvey, so we could get the best recovery for the school district that we could get. So we came in, we were able to discover substantially more damage, particularly from the flooding. We inspected the roofs with the help of Mr. Ruley and people that work under him. The majority of the rooftops in the district did leak some, but since Hurricane Harvey has passed, those leaks have stopped and haven't occurred again. Other than, I think, is Woodrow Wilson. Other than Woodrow Wilson, we can probably go into detail about that later. Some of the rooftops did leak as a result of the hurricane. They haven't leaked since. There was an unprecedented amount of water that came down and hit the city as a result of the hurricane. So a lot of the water sat on these rooftops for a few days. So any way they could have gotten inside the building, that's how they ended the building down. Since Hurricane Harvey, the roofs haven't leaked. We've gone back and checked. So the rooftops haven't leaked. It was the 9th grade campus. There was a problem with the roof on the 9th grade campus that was not a result of damage from Hurricane Harvey. So I'll give it to Mr. Rudy. We can go over that. That's something that the school district prepared. But that damage was not a result of Hurricane Harvey. It looked like there had been a light fixture or something that may have been attached to the roof that may have come off at some point and created an opening on the parapet. But other than that, the only other roof that we found significant problem with was over at Woodrow Wilson. And again, that partly had something to do with Hurricane Harvey, with the way we were on the roof, that the roof was so old. But again, our job is to go in and try to attach as much damage as we can find, as we found, to Hurricane Harvey to get the insurance company to try to pay for it. So that's what we're trying to do. Randall Harris will go over more detail about the claim. We're still working on the claim. I think we're doing a good job so far. There's still a lot more to discover. We have to work with the insurance company on things like the computers, the server. I think we've come to some resolution on the contents. We've come to some resolution on a lot of the computer equipment minus the server. So, try to think what else. So I'll tell you what, I'll let Randall go into more detail if you guys have any questions. We're here to answer any questions now or anytime later. We've had big dealings with the insurance company, which is generally rare in cases like this. So the claim is going fine. Hopefully we can get y'all back into Adams and the admin building pretty soon. Particularly when the school year starting up. So I'm gonna let Randall take over. We're here to answer any questions. If we don't have the answers right now, we'll get back with you and get you answers. But we should be able to answer the questions you all have this evening.
Good evening. Guys, let's come over here and give you an update. As Dr. Porter said, we rely heavily on the staff, Port Arthur School District, and Ms. Jeans. She's been a lot of help. She'll definitely keep you in check. But she's been really good about providing everything that we've asked for, and she's been extremely helpful. As far as the status of the claim, last time I spoke with you guys, there was a lot of things in question. We have a lot more definitive answers now. And I just put together just a little bullet point thing for you to look at. And basically it's kind of telling where we started and where we are at this time. For instance, if you're going by on a per location basis with the high school here, then when we got involved, there wasn't a claim on the hospital itself. And at this time, as I pointed out in the bulletin, the NFIP policy is paying to get your gym floors redone because they have water damage. The excess coverage is paying to have the track redone. The NFIP policy is also paying to redo some flooring in the Cape building that was damaged by water. An excess policy, of course, covers the field house. And so there's a lot of things here that are really starting to come together. When you add them all up, it's going to be a big win for the district. A lot of schools we visit, they have problems with their tracks already, not necessarily from the storm. You guys obviously had some problems, calls from a hurricane. We took the carriers out there, inspected with them, with their adjusters, engineers, and their estimators, and we came to an agreement that they were going to pay for your track. So that's all behind you now once you get it finished. As far as the wood floors, your NFIP policy is going to be maxed out on that. But I think everything is going to be able to be covered under that one policy for both gym floors. As far as the contents, that seemed to have been a big topic lately when it came to computers and electronics. And Ms. Deans and I have gone back and forth a lot discussing what needs to be done as far as what needs to be paid for, what needs to be cleaned, what needs to be salvaged. This time, as a conversation a few days ago, you guys don't have to worry about getting your electronics cleaned. The insurance company is going to pay to replace all of their laptops, computers, credit responders, everything of the sort. They're no longer going to fight and try to make you salvage these items by having them cleaned and maybe running into problems down the road. At the same time, when I say that, when they pay for that, they have what they call salvage rights. They get to come and pick it up, keep it, sell it, and try to recover some money that they've lost on it. But I don't think you guys will be too worried about that, getting all new electronics. As far as I just want to talk a little bit about about where we started the claim. Part of our involvement, it was after our involvement, the carrier issued an advance payment. That's your excess carrier, not your NFIP carrier. It's confusing me swapping back and forth talking about both of them. But they, on top of the $3 million that they offered, they advanced. They felt that they owed another $5 million. Go over to the next page. You can see a short time later, after we had some more meetings with them and negotiations, they felt they owed $10 million. Well, now it's now what they feel they owe from this excess coverage alone. They're looking at a replacement cost of $15 million with an ACV of 11.8. So we've definitely made a lot of ground, and the claim's not finished. But this is basically what they've agreed to. There's some issues with your servers. I'm not an expert on those items, and I can't really talk much about them because I just don't have the knowledge. But the way the servers were damaged, the way your systems are not working, I believe you guys said they had a bunch of errors in machines. So I think it's been more of a hassle than anything else with your servers. But the fact is, they're going to go ahead and offer an ACV payment on the servers as well, just depending on what they feel is undisputed. So on top of the money that we just discussed, the $15 million total, that's $15 million less your depreciation and deductible, which puts you an ACV value of 11. But when they're going to go ahead and they know that they owe for some of it, they're going to go ahead and issue payment on that. I don't have any paperwork to provide you yet, and I didn't want to speculate on the numbers they may come back with. But I do think that we'll have enough in the end to have everything covered for you guys. When you lump everything together, as far as your claims from your NFIP coverage, you have NFIP contents and structure, and then of course your excess carrier has contents and structure. On the next page there in the book, that's going to put your claim around $16 million. And that's $16 million that you guys should be able to recover. There will be depreciation withheld as there is in any claim. And until some of the work is done, but in a lot of our negotiations, we've been successful at keeping the depreciation very low. There are some items that will be higher, electronics are one of them. But nonetheless, in the whole scheme of things, we've definitely been able to keep the depreciation very low. So it's ongoing. We have submitted the signed proof of losses. Ms. Jeans has got those back to us. We submitted them to the carrier. And once they receive the signed proof of losses, payment's on the way. You guys have complied with everything the carrier has asked. And there's nothing regarding the money we're speaking of right now. There's none of that money is in dispute. So they have agreed to pay. Hopefully it'll just be a matter of a week or two before the checks get there. Of the $10 million, that comes from 3 different carriers. Each carrier is on the hook for a third. The next layer, after $10 million, is in your second layer. It's made up of different carriers as well. Dealing with every carrier and every person who signs off at each carrier is not always easy. Some people may just write the check and pay you what they owe you. Others may give you an awful hard time, which is one of them trying to give us a hard time as far as signing off on the check.
Let me interject one thing, board members. I know LRG did put the sheet of finances in the folder, but when you look at those finances, please do not think that we have that money now. That money has not been brought to this district. So we do not have that money here. And that's why we're very careful about what we say about finances. We do have the $3 million. We're looking forward to getting the other finances. So please don't put those numbers in your head, because those funds are not in this district and we have not received that amount. And we also have to pay LRG out of this. So please do not think we have this amount of money, let's get started buying and all this stuff. That is not what we have. So please don't think.
Outside of that, Dr. Corey said that money has not showed up. That's just what they've agreed to. And now that you guys have submitted signed proof of losses, they were required by the policy. You guys are well within the guidelines and in compliance. Hopefully the next time we stand before you, all the checks will have already arrived and you guys will be paid and well on your way to give you the proper results. So outside of that, if you have any questions, we'll do our best to answer. Sorry?
I actually have two questions. I've got two questions. Which one of the bullet points speaks to the damages at the Queen in terms of the roof and whatever damages they may cause?
I didn't put those on the bullet points, and I'll explain why. Those, out of all your properties, every property in your district had damage of some degree. Every property had damage. What I'm trying to put in front of you today is what's part of the claim, because if I started mixing the numbers in for the damage items that were not covered, I was afraid it would really throw everything out of whack. But the Queen and all the other schools that have water damage, they didn't exceed the deductible. And so not exceeding the deductible basically makes that something that the carrier is not going to look for. At the same time, it is recoverable through FEMA. So all the costs will be documented, and the FEMA consultants will take that, and when the project works, you can submit to FEMA, hopefully have you guys paid for all the damages you incurred that the insurance did not cover.
Question number two, will we be able to recover the depreciation?
Absolutely. No question about it, it is recoverable. That will not be an issue at all.
To cover the depreciation, what should we do about that? What should we be able to use the documentation to be sure that reimbursement paid for the depreciation?
And oftentimes, and it may be, you may be able to do it in some scenarios where, once you guys are under contract, if you have a purchase order that may suffice. You guys, if we have a purchase order, you've issued to replace items, you may not have to wait until the items actually arrive and Ms. Jean's got the check for it and to get all the paperwork back in here. They've been good about working with us, and we may be able to work out purchase orders or contracts for anything that you guys may be replacing.
I know last time, and I think I may have asked this question already when we were here the last time, but I wanted to be sure that if we were being proactive with coolers and chillers as well because of the hurricane, they still may be functional right now, but after a while, they may cease to function because the water that was used was brackish and all the other things that are happening right now. Have you been able to be proactive in addressing that with insurance companies about what's going to happen in the future? Even if it may be running right now, it could have been impacted by the storm and may have a problem farther down the road.
Well, I think we have that pretty much squared away. But there's really two locations where that's an issue, and that would be Adams and Yadmill. Adams, we inspected every inch of that property. The water line at Adams, we were never able to determine where the water line got up around the equipment, where it would endanger it or cause it to have issues. Now the admin's a different story, and everything in the admin is being replaced. There's no question about that. They've agreed to that, but the equipment at Adams, I don't believe that we can make a case for that because there's no water line. The water just wasn't as deep there, so there's not a lot we can do about it.
The water wasn't deep.
It happens.
Okay, so what about Darwin out there?
Dowling, I think Dowling, we only had a little bit of water that may have seeped in one of the doors, in the back door, one of the carpet sections. So, that definitely wouldn't be an issue there. The significant amount of water that we found, or the most significant, has been on this campus, admin and Adams. Even though the other campuses had damage, we didn't find anything significant enough that would, in just in my opinion, that would threaten any of their equipment in that nature.
But we will go back and double check. We will work over will do that. Just to double check and make sure, if it's something that is good, we want to make sure. But our initial,
No, you said you'll inspect all of the HVAC systems?
yeah, some of the schools, now, some of the campuses, the HVAC systems were not impacted. We know it was at the Yankee building. And Adam, to be fair, question, we didn't discover any flooding in the HVAC system. We will go back and double check it, because we know Adam did take on a significant amount of water.
What about Washington? Washington is completely.
Washington,
Yeah.
they get in the building.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Reed.
Thank you. Randall, I thought we had photographs of the water damage at Adams. Don't we, I mean, I know you have to show proof of flood. Don't we have that proof of flood?
At Adams, we do.
Building
At Adams, they didn't question whether it was flooding, but the way their equipment is supported at Adams, it's actually, it's up off the ground.
Okay.
So it's outside Outback, and it's up off the ground. And, you know, when we got there, of course, that was one of our first concerns, because the cost of that equipment, trying to come out of pocket for something like that, I mean, it take a lot of money. And so that was one of the first things that we really pursued, because we knew the building had flooded.
Okay.
We weren't able to find anything on the equipment at Adams that could show water height or water lines or anything of that nature that would give us the ability to go after it. Whereas the Adams, we were able to get basically every piece of mechanical equipment paid for.
Now speaking of the equipment, and I look at this itemization from April 24th, we don't have we not accumulated the contents loss in order to get the contents claim?
All your contents are accounted for as far as, basically, we worked off the numbers that Ms. Jeans has provided.
Okay, the only reason I said that, sorry, would it be under general? Is that the general for the contents?
Which one are you looking at?
I'm looking at this one right here, current statement, 4/24/2018.
Oh, that's just the overall claim for those particular campuses.
Okay, but not contents on it.
That does include contents. It's just not broken out. This is just on a per campus basis.
All right, I got you.
So we have, they have agreed to pay for everything as far as contents. That's what I was getting at earlier. One of the concerns of the district was they didn't want to clean equipment that was locked up in a building for 10 days with 100%
Of course
humidity.
not, yeah.
So at that point, you know, we just within the last few days, the carrier has decided that they were not going to force the district to clean it and try to use it, that they were going to pay for all their equipment.
Okay. And one last question, Randall. What was where did our total limits from NFIP reach? I mean, I see we're getting, basically adding it together, it's 1,650,000, but what was the top limit on our NFIP coverage?
Well, NFIP is a little bit unique because at each location, you're only supposed to have one policy per building.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
this place you have two policies, but we were able to get around being one building. We could define the auditorium as a second building due to the nature of construction. All your NFIP policies outside of a residential have a max limit of 500,000. That also basically serves as your deductible going into your excess layer. Once you reach the $500,000 maximum, you then going into your excess layer, that goes against your deductible. So it's healthy. But I believe, as far as I know, and Ms. Jeans would definitely have, if she has any more information on it than I do. You guys had a $500,000 policy on Adams. You did not have NFIP on admin. You had 500,000 contents on Adams for as well. You have 500,000 contents, 500,000 structure. You have 500,000 here, Yes, on this building it's 500,000, on the auditorium it's 500,000. So anytime we say we're maxing out a NFIP policy, it's not as high as it seems. Because the way the policies are structured, they're limited to $500,000 per building. They're not, I guess that's the reason that they sell excess coverage. And that's the reason that excess carriers mandate that you have NFIP coverage prior to buying their coverage. So it's basically, so anytime I say we maxed out an NFIP policy, 99% of the time, it'll be for 500,000.
Well, can you explain to us the damages that the track received that the practice football field didn't receive?
I don't know if I can. I can explain the damages that the track did receive. This track out here. Now, that may be something that I'm unaware of, what you're speaking about as far as the practice football field. I would definitely like to hear more about it though, because it's something that we haven't pursued anything on a practice football field. I know that.
Well, if we can just canvass it, you'll find a lot of the soil is removed. I want to say the contributing factor probably was the flood. I don't know how much water got set on the field.
Right.
If you walk out there, it's a big break.
So you have a bunch of divots in it. Now, we did run across an issue that on another school district, and we were able to get that paid for. And if this is a field you're talking about here,
Yes, sir.
then we didn't notice that when we were working on the track. The track was our primary concern, and that may have been oversight on our part. Maybe we need to get back out there and take a look at your field. But I'm glad you brought that up, and we try to cover as much as we can. There are going to be things that we're unaware of because we're not in your daily operations. We can only go by what we inspect or what we're told or what we feel needs to be addressed. And so if any of you guys have any kind of information like that, we'll definitely be glad to come back and take a look at it. And if it's anything that we can get put under your policy and get you paid for, we'll definitely do so.
Let me address that, Mr. Hillary. That is not under the insurance, as we spoke, as we have known. So no, that is not hurricane damage with the field itself. We know that the surface is bad, and we are getting ready to receive bids on that already, and we're getting ready to do that. Our first plan was a suggestion of bringing in dirt and having it settle in there. It would take about a year for it to be ready to utilize. But we are going to go a different route and remove the topsoil and redo the entire, redo the stadium. So that is where we are now. So we are honest people.
So you have a grass field out
We
there.
have grass. So
Okay.
we don't want you to think that we want you to look at that. So we are going to have.
Okay, the field that I was referring to where we had the similar issue was it was a turf field. And when the turf had floated.
Mr. Hillary is talking about the field, if I'm not mistaken, the field back behind us.
Okay,
Behind
okay.
the stadium. And so, and the field behind us, we
Gotcha.
are addressing.
Okay, fair enough.
If there's anything that you have concern about, please let Dr. Courtney or Mr. Hickley, and we will investigate. I mean, we're here to work for the district, and we'll do whatever we can do to recover funds for the district. So if there's damage, it may have been latent damage that may have showed up after we did our inspection. We're happy to come back and look at it. We'll go on top of any roofs, we'll walk through any building, go on any field. We'll look for any damage that we can find, and then we'll look somewhere through the policy and see if we can find coverage for it. If there's coverage for it, then we'll get the insurance company to compensate the school district for it. So it doesn't matter if it's big, small, it doesn't matter. If there's damage that somebody's noticed, then we'll do whatever we can do to get the district compensated. Again, if there's some issues with the server, we're still working on the roof at Woodrow Wilson. We will fight the insurance company to get as much money as we can for those issues with the roof at Woodrow Wilson service.
For instance, this on your track here, that's your statement of values. Basically, you have each building listed. You have the field house. You have concession stands. You have 10plex. Well, for instance, the track is not listed on there, but we're able to get that covered under non-scheduled location because you guys have 1 million in coverage for just 4 non-scheduled locations. So we try to find coverage anywhere that may apply within the policy. And oftentimes it takes reading it and rereading it time and time again, and until we find something that's in benefit of Port Arthur ISD. So it's, anything that we can help with, more than happy to. We can answer as many questions, or we can try to answer as many questions you guys have.
This may seem like a question that popped into my mind. Where's the correlation between where you guys pick up and say like on the new structure for the ninth grade facility that's going on right now? Is there anything that happened not according to the construction aspect of the building?
Yes.
And has a correlation with it?
That doesn't have a correlation with us. Ms. Jeans handled the claim. It was a builder's risk claim. She handled that on the new construction and the materials being utilized over there. So we didn't, we're handling a claim. We had to be under contract for that particular policy for that particular property. We were not under contract. Ms. Jeans handled that. And so we really didn't have anything to do with it other than just knowing what you're speaking of.
And yes, what Mr. Harris is speaking of, there were materials that were housed at the 9th grade that were flooded. It was new material, never used, but because it was flooded, the warranty was gone, so we could not use the material. So then the insurance came in, paid, and took the material after they settled. Yes, but we couldn't. It was, some of it was roof, where the warranty wasn't going to cover it because it was under flood.
And that's the same they'll do with what we were speaking of earlier with repeaters. Once they buy it, that's basically they're buying it. They'll come in and they'll take it and they'll, sell it to their vendors or whoever because it's a certain salvage value on every item, and they're just trying to recover what they can. And it's the same thing they did with the roofing materials and the HVAC equipment on your builder's risk claim.
Just want to be sure that $1 million that wasn't something that we had to eat up.
I don't think she's going to let any $1 million get eaten up by anybody that doesn't deserve it. I can tell you that right now.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions, trustees? Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have Kelly Services that we're going to ask. Kelly has been busy this year. They have done a magnificent job, so we appreciate what they do in order to make sure our classes are covered. I must say they've been busy, but our teachers have done an absolutely wonderful job at coming to work every day in spite of everything. They've really done great.
Good evening, President, Superintendent, Vice President, and fellow board members. Today, District Manager Melinda McNeely and myself are going to share some important information with you about our partnership for this school year, beginning August 2017 to March 2018. Now, as you review your presentation, please know that all of us have had to endure some things, some challenges caused by Hurricane Harvey. But in doing so, Kelly Educational Staffing was successfully able to hire and maintain over 400 employees able and ready to serve Port Arthur Independent School District. We were also able to keep ourselves above 90%, a 90% fill rate district-wide for all positions. We have also presented a breakdown of our employees and positions that they are working in, the number of positions they are working in. I'd like to specifically point out that we have doubled our number in bilingual substitutes. Last year when we presented, there was only 15. Now we have 38. We have also doubled our number in employees that are degree. They have some form of degree. There are over 200 employees, beginning from the associate degree all the way to the master's degree. As you review the estimated absences per school to the far right, please remember these numbers were captured in the duration from August 2017 to March 2018. And we faced some challenges. Even our team, most of our team was displaced during Hurricane Harvey. But in doing so, we had to come up with some creative ideas to continue the recruiting process. Some of those creative ideas included doing FaceTime and Skype interviews and heavily relying on social media to recruit. Next, we have provided a list of filled and unfilled vacancies per school. Now, this number has changed since August 2017. Going into the school year, you have one number, but as of right now, this is the number of vacancies. I think the school district has done a great job of recruiting and hiring qualified people to fill the vacancies. But please be at peace and know that while you are utilizing Kelly Educational Staffing substitutes, we are working together with you to help you save money. We absorb the cost for the unemployment, the workers' compensation, payroll tax, and we have also lowered our bill rate to help you save money while you're recruiting to fill those vacancies. A common question we get is, what type of training do you provide to your substitute teachers? Well, I'd like to submit to you that Kelly Educational Staffing, we provide training to instructional employees as well as non-instructional employees. It is an extensive training. Our employees cannot be placed in the classroom unless they pass with 80% or better. Some of those lessons include classroom management, safety, and also state laws as it pertains to working in the education field. I also have we have also brought the manual. That is the complete training for units 1 and 2 for instructional talents or applicants who wish to serve in the classroom as a substitute. Next, you will see all the community involvement. Kelly Educational Staffing is heavily involved in the community. We work very closely with Lamar State College, Port Arthur, Lamar University, Lamar Institute of Technology, as well as other different organizations. We sponsor a school. We talk with parents. We believe in recruiting and working closely with students who are graduating. We specifically work with the education department at Lamar University. They are required to have observation hours when they are in the education program. And working as a substitute teacher works towards, it helps them to have those hours working as a substitute teacher. It's approved by Lamar. We also work together very closely with the HR staff in providing our substitutes, working with having our substitutes attend a PPR training. Those that are already enrolled in the education prep program and are seeking certification, they attend the classes provided by the district. We collect the names and we get those employees to come in. They're coming in on their own. and they are attending the course so that they can get hired, and hopefully they want to be placed at Port Arthur Independent School District. Kelly Educational Staffing, I know that you always see, or most of the time you see me, you see Melinda, but please know that there is a huge team that stands with us in support of you. Now, I'm going to just speak from being with you all these years. I know that there have been times when we agree, and there have been times when we disagree on things, but we have never left your side. We sit down, we put our heads together, and we come to a resolution, and then we grow from it. And to me, that is what real partnership is about. Do you have anything you'd like to add, Melinda?
I don't think I can say anything better than what you've already said. Most remark. No, I support Tamara. She is the face of Kelly Services at Port Arthur, and she does an excellent job. She speaks very highly of you, and we are honored to have you as a customer. So we thank you very much.
Thank you.
Like, one question. You said that there are 200 individuals with associate through master's degree time. Those 200 individuals, are they shared with all of the other districts, or are those individuals here focused in PAISD?
Those individuals have the ability to work here for Port Arthur Independent School District.
So they're out of that pool that we draw from?
Yes, sir.
And they currently do work for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, trustees? Any other questions? Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly Educational Services. School technology is important to teaching and learning. And as Port Arthur Independent School District continues to work toward training students during school and beyond school, we make sure, and we want to make sure, that they are technologically savvy. So we do have our IT department. Mr. Dager is going to talk to us a little bit about how we're moving forward, what we're moving in the technological realm. Our students are very, very savvy when it comes to technology, and we have to keep up with them. So it is important that we invest in technology, and they learn from technology. I mean, I'm sure if you have young students, nieces, nephews, children, when you get a new phone, they're the ones that put it together. We keep going. Someone asked Mr. David to come forward and talk about some of the new and innovative things that we have coming forward. We do thank our TEA allotment, and we also thank Dr. Getwood with title that helps us to purchase all of our new equipment for our students. Mr. David.
Thank you, Dr. Porter. Good evening, Board President, Vice President, Trustees. I have a PowerPoint. I apologize that it's maybe behind you. Yeah, please, if you want to take a moment to in a position to see a quick PowerPoint of some of the wonderful things we want to introduce to our students and staff. Before I begin, I would like to personally thank the executive team, particularly Dr. Getwood, for working with me. I just can't speak enough. Dr. Getwood's a coach, so normally I'm his player. I try to be his Michael Jordan, is what I try to do. So he gives me a task. And I also like to publicly thank Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, I'm also his team player. I like to try to be his LeBron James. I'm trying to be Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
You did that last night.
Yeah. But just to start off with some of the technology things we like to introduce to the district. One is augmented reality or virtual reality called Z-Space. Z-Space is a computer unit that allows students to do some things in 3D or what's called augmented reality. With collaboration with our science department, our science supervisors, we spend a fair amount of money on cadavers and different pigs and different animals so they can do their biology and whatnot. But this right here will actually save the district some money and allow more science experiments to go on because they're actually able to do these same experiments in 3D environment. 3D environment. These units also have a curriculum that can be upgraded with all the curriculums, our main content curriculums, along with some art and music curriculum. So this is a very, very dynamic and just plain cool device that we want to introduce to our students. And hopefully we plan on putting these units in all of our science labs across our secondary schools. Next we have our calculators. It's almost a crime to call them a calculator now because they're advanced so much. They almost become full-fledged computers. But we plan on putting a fair amount of our TI-inspired CX calculators, which can be used on testing for our secondary students. They are able to use these during testing for our middle school and high school students. And these calculators also come with training for our teachers, along with the Z-Space units I showed you previously. And they also come with software that's designed to work with the teacher in terms of instruction to use these calculators. So these are going to really put our students into the next century in terms of going past their academic experience and putting forth out their school conditions. So they will definitely be ready for the collegiate field with these calculators. And all of our secondary campuses, hopefully will receive some of these calculators and maybe use them for testing. Next we have our interactive touch screens. Worked on a project with Dr. Vine with a pre-K grant, and we purchased some of these machines for our pre-K teachers through a grant, along with some other materials. But also like to personally thank Dr. Vine for working with her. That was a great project that we worked on. And we had so much positive energy and positive feedback from these units. Dr. Edwin and I want to actually put these in the hands of our other grade levels. So you use the guided instructions. So just like I am presenting information to you, and we're looking at the information on a projector or a screen. Okay? That's called guided instruction. That's when I guide you through some instruction or through some things that I want to introduce to you and show you. The cool thing about this unit can turn from guided instruction to student-centered instruction. So basically, these units are able to turn mechanically into a table, and several students are actually able to go to the unit and simultaneously use it at the same time, based on the information that was given to by the teacher.
Pardon the interruption.
Yes, ma'am.
So since we're seeing all this, is it safe to assume that we're ready to roll this out? I mean, it's ready to go, like right now when school starts? No.
Based on it, these things are approved with approval of the board.
Right.
We plan to put these in for our next school year. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we plan to put 2 of these units on each campus. They are wheel-based, and they are able to share these units on the campus. Of course, we wish to put them in every classroom, but this is the top of the line technology. So it comes with it. Sometimes it comes with a stiff price tag. Yes, every campus. So based on the budget and working with Dr. Gatewood, we're able hopefully to put 2 of these units on every campus. Dr. Gatewood and Dr. Vine and I, we worked together and we launched a robotics program. Thanks to Dr. Gatewood, he with Coach Mode, he said, hey, Derek, we want to put a robotics program. And we put a robotics program for our elementary and our secondary students last summer. And I can't say enough, it went bananas. We had teachers, parents. The program was full before we even started. As a matter of fact, the program was so successful that we had a fair amount of a percentage of parents that actually went out and bought this robot for their students at their home. So they actually took these robots and put them in their house to continue the program that we started in the summertime. These robots were called Dash and Dots, and they were primarily made for the elementary students. The company that produced these robots came out a couple of months ago with a unit designed for middle school with a middle school curriculum. So what we want to do is put these on our middle school campus and continue that summer program of robotics this year. This program will allow our students to get lesson in math-based curriculum with the curriculum that comes with the robot. It extends through elementary. So imagine that the elementary students are able to learn coding and get the primary basics when it comes to robotics. And then they get to continue that through the middle school. And then we have our Jet Li robots that expand to high school. Okay, so we're going to be putting some real Tony Starks and Iron Mans out there on Port Arthur Independent School District.
So is this technology available anywhere else within the Region 5?
No, it is not.
Oh, really?
It is not.
Port Arthur's the first.
We are the first.
That's great.
We are the first. And it teaches computer programming, and it has updatable lessons. So that's one. And we're going to begin competing in the Wonder League Robotics competition. So now they have just started a competition that's hot on the market. And we're not only are we the first district in this area that have these robots, we're the first one to go to that competition. So this is our, the Dash and Dots were for the elementary. This robot is called the Q. This is the Q. Lastly, our Chrome updates. Again, thanks to Dr. Gilwood, we launched some Chromebooks in our district. I think about 4 or 5 years ago, we launched Chromebooks, and we put Chromebooks on every campus. And again, our teachers and our principals and our students and staff just fell in love with them. And what we wanted to do was increase the amount, and our goal is to get at least a cart of tablets per classroom. And we're very, very close to that. This year we plan to put at least 6 carts on every elementary campus, 6 carts on every secondary campus, 4 carts at our Wilson Early College. Each cart holds up to 36 tablets, and we'll try to put somewhere between 20 to 25 in our elementary carts, and we'll try to put a full 36 in our secondary carts. And with these carts, the students are able to use Google Classroom, which expands from the classroom to the home. So these students are able to access lessons and content at home, as well as when they're on campus in the classroom. And it also gives them a digital experience between the content that our teachers are teaching and with the teachers beyond the classroom. So we're very excited about the Google tablets and the Google Chromebooks that we want to put out in the campuses. And we have a goal, and we want to be one-on-one. One-on-one means that we put a tablet in each student's hands, and that's the goal that we're reaching, and we're very close to that. Very close. So this is some of the technology, or some of the technology that we want to bring to Port Arthur Independent School District. And again, I want to reiterate, Ms. Ambrose had a very, very good point. Port Arthur Independent School District is one of the first districts. First of all, we're the first district to put a 3D printer in our classrooms.
Yeah.
We're the first school in Region 5 to put a 3D printer in the classroom. Second, this augmented reality, those C-Space machines, will be the first school district in Region 5 to put that technology in our classrooms. So I'm very proud of Port Arthur Independent School District. And again, I can't thank Mr. Jackson and the executive team, especially Dr. Gilwood, for having to be courageous to put some of this technology in the hands of our students and our teachers. Thank you very much for your time. I apologize. Were there any questions about any of the things that I presented? Any questions?
Maybe Dr. Porter, you might answer this question. How does this relate to us being How does this relate to us becoming a district of innovation, Dr. Ford?
We can do a lot with our District of Innovation. This is not something that is part of the District of Innovation. Our district, we've had a lot of questions about that, the District of Innovation. And obviously, with the 5-year plan that we created, along with District of Innovation, there may be something we can do later on. But the District of Innovation was created solely for the purpose of the school calendar, which you will vote on again tonight. Our teachers had questions about the District of Innovation, and we assured them that it was strictly for calendar purposes. Now, as we move along, there is a committee that would look at changes and advancement. And if it meets with the committee, then we will bring it back to you for discussion. Yes.
All right. Our minutes, we need to begin to take action. Consider and if appropriate approve minutes of the March 22nd, 2018 board meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion by Dr. Reed, second by Trustee Brown. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Consent agenda. We need the following items, which are of a routine and/or recurring nature, have been designated consent agenda items by the board president per policy BE local. All of the items in the consent agenda will be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a trustee, in which event the item or items will be withdrawn immediately for individual consideration in its normal sequence after the items not requiring separate discussion have been acted upon. We are going to pull item number 23. Are there any other items that need to be pulled by trustees on tonight? We're going to be pulling item number 23. Are there any other items that trustees would want pulled for discussion? Further discussion. Any other items? All right. So we will go on and pull item 23, but I will receive a motion for items number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And 22. Okay. We have a motion and a second on these items. We have a motion by Trustee Ambrose, second by Trustee Barty. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Right, they have been approved. Item 23. Consider and if appropriate, repeal all previously adopted policies and adopt policies as prepared by TASB Policy Service.
I move that the board adopt the local policy contained within the reconstructed TASB localized policy manual effective this day and repeal all previous policy.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Trustee Barty, motion by Trustee Brown. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right. It is approved. Dr. Porter Reed.
Yes, board members, you have seen the recommendation of teacher for the Queen Elementary.
Right. Everyone looked at that. Consider it appropriate to approve employment of teachers. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Reed, second by Trustee Brown. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you so much. Information, Dot?
Yes, average daily enrollment is 8,274. Average daily attendance, 93.24%.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Porter Reed. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
I have a motion for adjournment. Trustee Reed, Trustee Gillard. Before we leave on tonight, let me just say, he was so gracious in saying to us, but we want to thank Trustee Guillory for his service on the Port Arthur Independent School District School Board. This is going to be his last meeting with us, and he talked about his growth and all that had happened. All of us are growing, and we do thank you so much, Mr. Guillory. We wish you well in all of the future endeavors. We know that this will not be the last time that we'll be together, but we do want to thank you. And then we have other board members who are running for positions on the board, and we wish them well as well. And so we're going to, with that, say good night.
Good night.
End of meeting. You are adjourned.